Hello! How are y'all doing? My name is Mike, and I am super positive. I'm a positive guy. This is a positive channel. And I just want to talk about how super stoked I am about 11th edition. Now, it's important to note that my predictions don't mean squat, because not only am I stupid, but I also don't know all that much because I've only been playing Warhammer for about a year. 10th edition is the very first edition that I've ever played. And so far, it has been so much fun. It's been really cool. I'm one of those filthy casuals that rode the Warhammer hype train back when it got super popular a while ago. I mean, it still is, but I don't know, I feel like there was a surge in popularity that kind of brainwashed us normies into getting started. And I'm super happy I did. It's been so much fun. It's a really cool excuse to have something in common with my friends, something more in common with my friends, you know? It gives us all something to talk about. It gives me a reason to go hang out with total strangers for like 3.5 hours and meet really cool people and get to know them. How often do you talk to a stranger for 3.5 hours? It's a great way of finding friends. It's a great way of finding community. And it's really, really fun to have these little guys to come home and work on. It's fun to be able to work on terrain. It has enriched my life in many, many ways, and I'm thankful for that. So obviously I have tons of criticisms of 10th. I'm kidding, I actually don't. I think it's great, and I hope that 11th is a version of 10th that allows me to be a little bit sillier. One thing that sort of bugs me about Warhammer, and I get it, it's a game about balance, right? So of course you're going to get some of this, is just this similarity between games and the lack of room for really interesting improv. And I know that doesn't mean anything, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that my army, Space Wolves, has characters that you kind of always run because they're just that good. And every army has characters that you always run. They're just that good. There's some detachments that are really, really good and some detachments that just don't work for Space Wolves because you don't have the support in your army necessary to make that kind of thing work. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that with this new character creation that's come out, that this is kind of like the beta test for 11th, where they're going to do a more expansive system. And it's not going to be casual play only, it'll be acceptable in tournament play. That's going to be big for me, because what that means is not only do I get the opportunity to, you know, kit bash and do all this fun stuff, make all my own little guys and give them their own names like Biggest Dickus on Thunderwolf, it also gives me the option to make other strategies work. Because when you can buff certain units in certain ways, you can really kind of shatter that meta. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, obviously there will be a more competitive way to do it. People will find the absolute most effective methods of making their own characters and combining those with different attachments, but it's definitely going to let us skew towards the weird. Like a good example for me would be, you know, we've lost our Thunderwolf leaders. They're leaders that ride around on big giant wolves. It's very silly. It's very cool. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm holding a stick, it's because I don't like to ruin my brushes with technical paints. And right now I'm putting snow on these head takers here to kind of make them look a little more, you know, like they're out in the elements, right? Just little bits of snow. It helps. Hide some in their fur, make it look like they're getting dumped on by the weather. Anyways, yeah, this gives us the ability to like take those characters that we no longer have access to and make them ourselves, which is going to make things like Stormlance even more viable than it already was. We can do really, really fun, crazy combinations. I mean, I'd imagine that you could be playing this character creation system in 11th, if it's as widespread as we hope, and spend years just kind of figuring out the goofy stuff you can do. And I think that's great for GW's business too, because an example within my own army, you've got like this cool wizard Njal. People don't really buy him because he's just not that good. But if you can tailor your army to do a specific weird kind of thing, then all of a sudden there might be room for him in it. And I think that's awesome. I hope that Warhammer gives us the opportunity to be a little more expressive in the ways that we want to play. Instead of giving us like ABC choices with one of those three choices being the most competitive, I say give us the options to create different strategies and characters and do all sorts of goofy stuff on the table. I hope it's as big and impactful as I'm thinking it's going to be if they do go that route. That would be really fun to see. Because for somebody like me, that creative aspect of it is just as important as the competitive aspect. I love having my own little guys with their own little stories. It's very cool to me. And giving us that option to create those little guys, create those little stories, and adjust the way that we play based on that makes it more into kind of what I was hoping it would be when I first started. Super cool, right? Really excited about that. And another thing that I think they're going to change, and I am pretty stoked about this, and that's just going to be terrain. I think the terrain in 10th is boring, and I know a million people have said that before. You know, you've heard this opinion. It's boring. It's too many ruins. I hope that they add more stuff, not just from the perspective of like changing the gameplay and making it a little bit less symmetrical and like identical game after game after game, but also from like a terrain creation perspective. That's going to be really cool. So I love this hobby. I don't have all the money in the world. Right now, I don't have a lot. And one thing that I want to do in order to save money is to just stop buying these little guys, hard as it'll be, and then get more into terrain building. I follow these YouTube channels that are really, really fun. They show these creation processes that are just so varied and give you so many opportunities to work with your hands. And I'm looking at this stuff just fingers crossed, hoping that Warhammer is going to give me the option to create real woods, like real woods with trees like these. And I know it's all stuff that you can do now, but at the end of the day, most people want to practice their lists, and they want to practice their lists on terrain that they're going to be doing competitively. So although I could bring crazy stuff like this right now, people might not want it as much. If the game actually did look like this, then it gives me even more of a reason to make it and even more of a reason to bring it. And that just, I don't know, that idea of like world creation through building terrain like this and just being really creative and having a bunch of fun with it, to have more of a reason to do that would be really, really fun. I think terrain is just, I've said it before, it's just the special sauce, you know? Looking at a table with cool terrain, it brings it all to life. And I just really, really like that. I really, really do. And I want the excuse to make more. I made some terrain. It was Bikini Bottom, but it's just ruins, you know? The buildings are essentially fence posts, and the little walls that lean up against them are just the edges of the ruins. It's fun, but it's also ruins. Give me the opportunity to make something more varied. I'll tell you what I want to do is I want to take tutorials like this, and I want to make Expedition 33 style terrain with it. I've just been really obsessed with the aesthetics of that game. Do like the ruins of an old manor, you know, and have like glowing trees and weird, vibrant life, stuff mishmashed together that shouldn't be mishmashed together. Like undersea stuff mixed with almost like rainforesty neon trees. Super cool aesthetic. And that's what I want to bring to the table. And I'm hopeful that we're going to get some opportunities to do that. And I guess in summation, I'm hopeful that Warhammer 11th will give us more opportunities to be expressive in that creative kind of way. The way we build our armies, the way the tables look, in addition to like minoring out some of the gameplay kinks. But again, I can't really complain too much about that because I haven't been playing for that long, and I do really enjoy the game as it is. Just give me a little bit more expressiveness from a creative point of view, and I'll be super happy. And that's my perspective. I hope you all are doing great. Don't really have anything else to say. Goodbye.